Here we are at the Choo Choo Barn, and I'm standing in what's going to be either a large pond or a small lake. Got tired of looking at the aquarium that used to be here, and actually what would happen is algae would get on the aquarium, and that always had to be cleaned off. And the one end of the aquarium actually had a crack across it, the glass, and it was leaking a little bit, and you know what, it was time to move on. So I wanted to make something a little bit bigger, a little bit more exciting. So I just completely, as you can well see, and if you've been following along, you could see how much of an area I took out. And so I just kind of started with some screen and started tacking with my staple gun. And actually the screen that I used, I got down at my local Zimmerman's hardware store. This is actually screen that I was able to salvage out of their junk box from where they, when they replace screen doors or screen windows, you know, for in your window. I just said, where's your old stuff? I don't need new because I'm just going to cover it up with plaster anyway. So I grabbed a couple of pieces of it. Didn't cost me a penny because they were going to throw it away anyway. And so I'm basically recycling. And it'll never be seen again, but I'm recycling. So I just kind of started and with some ideas and had to fill in underneath with some wood just to prop things up, as you can see here and see here. There's no strength involved. It's just a matter of keeping the screen in place until it gets the plaster on it. Once that plaster's on there, and then once the epoxy is set in the pond itself and on the creek, you know, that comes down from here, I won't ever have, you know, it won't have to be touched, and it'll really support itself. Now, it's not going to be a walk spot, quite obviously, but you know, I start with screen, and I use my cutters, and I cut, and I use sheet metal screws to screw it together, just enough to hold it. And you can see, and actually as I go, I take sheet metal screws out and maybe staple instead, or put new ones in. So it's all going to be formed, and this will be the creek coming down here. Now I'm also right now working on an entrance to the parking lot that's going to be back here, because this will be a nice pond, and I'll have maybe a little place for people to have you know, lunch, you know, with some picnic tables and that kind of thing. Maybe a little area down here for that you can go for a hike. You know, the possibilities are endless now. The possibilities are endless for the future. So I made a road that came in off of the main road. This is like a little access road, and this is actually plywood, very, very thin plywood. And then I'm going to put the other piece here. And this will be big enough. This is big enough here that I'm going to actually put a little culvert going under the road here. So I got to get a piece of pipe to put in here before I do any screening and before I do any plastering. But I'm working on my access road that's going to come down to here, which is actually going to be, like I said, there'll be a parking lot down underneath, you know, down here, right along the edge, and then this big pond or small lake. And then come this winter time, this Christmas, we'll have some surprises for down in this area that are going to be new for our Christmas display, which will start the Friday after Thanksgiving. So keep tuned, keep an eyeball on what we're doing here, and hope to see you come March.